The peaceful countryside of Adams, Tennessee, was forever changed in the early 19th century. The Bell family, led by John Bell, had settled into their charming farmstead, unaware that their lives were about to be plunged into a living nightmare. It all began with small, inexplicable sounds. The scratching of nails on wood, faint whispers in the dead of night. But soon, these disturbances escalated. The Bell children awoke to the sensation of unseen hands tugging at their blankets and hair, while eerie, disembodied voices echoed through the halls of their home. The malevolent spirit seemed to have a particular vendetta against John Bell. He was often struck by unseen forces, leaving him bruised and battered. Despite their best efforts, the family could not escape the wrath of this vengeful entity. The spirit, known as the Bell Witch, delighted in tormenting the family. She communicated through knocks and eerie chants, declaring her intention to destroy John Bell. The haunting drew the attention of the local community, and even General Andrew Jackson, who later became the President of the United States, visited the Bell farm to investigate the supernatural occurrences. Jackson's men experienced the terror firsthand when their horses refused to move and invisible forces attacked them. "I'd rather fight the British than face the Bell Witch," Jackson reportedly remarked before hastily leaving the property. As the years passed, the haunting intensified. John Bell's health deteriorated rapidly under the relentless assault, and in December 1820, he was found dead. Beside his lifeless body was a mysterious vial of black liquid. The witch's cackling laughter filled the room, proclaiming she had finally accomplished her mission. The Bell family buried John, but the haunting did not end. For years, the Bell Witch continued to haunt the descendants of the Bell family and the townspeople of Adams. Visitors to the farm reported eerie sights and sounds, and many were driven away by the oppressive sense of dread that permeated the land. Local legends recount that the Bowl Witch would appear as a dark, shadowy figure, sometimes resembling a woman with long black hair and piercing red eyes. On stormy nights, the air would fill with an unsettling chill, as if the very essence of the witch permeated the atmosphere. In one particularly harrowing account, a group of explorers decided to spend the night in the abandoned Bell farm in the hopes of encountering the witch. Armed with only lanterns and their courage, they settled in for the night. As midnight approached, the lanterns flickered ominously, and a low, guttural moan echoed through the empty halls. Terrified, the explorers huddled together, their hearts pounding in unison. Suddenly, the temperature plummeted, and a ghostly figure appeared before them, her eyes glowing with malevolence. The explorers fled the house in sheer panic, vowing never to return. The Bell family's distress attracted the attention of numerous paranormal researchers who ventured to Adams in hopes of uncovering the truth behind the spectral occurrences. Many left bewildered and frightened, having encountered inexplicable phenomena, ranging from objects moving of their own accord to chilling whispers in their ears. One such researcher, Dr. Eliza Michaels, documented her experiences in a journal. She wrote of nights spent in the Bell house, where the temperature would drop to an unnatural cold, and she would hear the unmistakable sound of footsteps pacing the floor above her. On one occasion, Dr. Michaels witnessed a spectral figure standing at the foot of her bed, watching her with those dreadful red eyes. The entity vanished, as she reached for her lantern, but the terror lingered long after. The Bale Witch's influence seemed to extend beyond the farm, affecting the entire town of Adams. Locals reported seeing ghostly apparitions wandering the streets at night, and animals behaved strangely, as if sensing an unseen presence. Children were often too frightened to play outside after dark, and the once vibrant community became shrouded in an atmosphere of fear and suspicion. To this day, the legend of the Bell Witch endures. The farm remains a place of fascination for paranormal investigators and thrill-seekers alike, each hoping to catch a glimpse of the vengeful spirit that once brought terror to the Bell family. The townspeople of Adams continue to share stories of eerie occurrences and unexplained phenomena, keeping the memory of the Bell Witch alive. The haunting of the Bell family stands as a chilling reminder of the unknown forces that may lurk just beyond the veil of our understanding, a testament to the enduring power of the supernatural. In the early 19th century, the quaint village of Sleepy Hollow in New York was shrouded in an aura of mystery and dread. The autumn nights were filled with a sense of unease, for the village was haunted by a terrifying specter known as the Headless Horseman. Legend had it that the Headless Horseman was the ghost of a Hessian soldier who had lost his head to a cannonball during the Revolutionary War. Condemned to roam the earth in search of his missing head, he emerged from the shadows every night, riding his black steed with a chilling fury. Ichabod Crane, a young schoolteacher, arrived in Sleepy Hollow to educate the village children. He was a peculiar but kind-hearted man, fascinated by the supernatural and local folklore. The villagers often shared tales of the Headless Horseman with him, fueling his curiosity and fear. On a fateful Halloween night, Ichabod attended a festive gathering at the home of the beautiful Katrina Van Tassel, whom he admired dearly. The evening was filled with laughter, music, and ghost stories. As the night wore on, the tales of the Headless Horseman grew more intense, sending shivers down Ichabod's spine. As the festivities came to an end, Ichabod set off on his horse, making his way through the eerie moonlit woods. The path took him across the old wooden bridge near the haunted cemetery, the very place where the Headless Horseman was said to appear. Suddenly from the darkness, the Headless Horseman materialized, his decapitated form cloaked in shadows. He held a glowing pumpkin in place of his head, and with a terrifying howl, he charged towards Ichabod. Panicked, Ichabod urged his horse to gallop faster, the sound of pounding hooves echoing through the night. Despite his efforts, the Headless Horseman closed in on Ichabod. As they reached the bridge, the spectre hurled the pumpkin at Ichabod with supernatural strength. The next morning, villagers found Ichabod's horse wandering aimlessly, but Ichabod himself had vanished without a trace. All that remained was his hat and the shattered remnants of the pumpkin. The legend of the Headless Horseman endured, a grim reminder of the supernatural horrors that lurked within the sleepy village. Sleepy Hollow's residents continued to recount the tale, their hearts gripped by fear and wonder. Even to this day, the Headless Horseman is said to ride through the woods, searching for his lost head and haunting the dreams of all who dare to remember his terrifying tale. Ichabod Crane had come to Sleepy Hollow with dreams of a simple, fulfilling life, But the village's dark history and eerie atmosphere began to take a toll on his nerves. By day, he was a dedicated teacher, guiding the children through their lessons. But by night, he was plagued by unsettling dreams and whispers of the Headless Horseman. The villagers' stories, once a source of fascination, now became a source of constant dread. Ichabod's fascination with Katrina Van Tassel was no secret. Her beauty and charm captivated him, and he often found himself daydreaming about a future with her. But Brom Bones, a local ruffian, was also vying for Katrina's affections. Brom was known for his brash demeanor and fearless nature, often mocking Ichabod's superstitions and timidity. On that fateful Halloween night, as the village celebrated with music and dance, Brom took the opportunity to share more exaggerated tales of the Headless Horseman, hoping to scare Ichabod away. His plan seemed to work, for Ichabod's face grew pale with fear as he listened to the chilling accounts. As Ichabod rode home through the dense woods, the moon cast long, eerie shadows that seemed to come alive. Every rustle of leaves and snap of twigs made his heart race faster. The thought of the Headless Horseman weighed heavily on his mind, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. When the spectral figure of the Headless Horseman finally appeared, Ichabod's terror knew no bounds. The sight of the headless rider, with his glowing pumpkin head, was too much for him to bear. He urged his horse to go faster, but the horseman matched his speed, relentless in his pursuit. The cold night air was filled with the sound of pounding hooves and Ichabod's panicked breaths. As they neared the old wooden bridge, Ichabod's hopes surged momentarily, for he had heard that the ghostly rider could not cross the bridge. But just as he reached the bridge, the Headless Horseman raised his arm and hurled the pumpkin with unerring accuracy. The impact threw Ichabod from his horse, and darkness consumed him. The next morning, the villagers searched for Ichabod but found only his abandoned horse and the shattered pumpkin. Whispers spread through Sleepy Hollow, with some believing that Ichabod had been spirited away by the Headless Horseman, while others speculated that he had fled in terror, never to return. Katrina mourned the loss of Ichabod, but in time she and Brom married, and life in Sleepy Hollow resumed its quiet, eerie rhythm. The legend of the Headless Horseman became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the village's haunted past and the unseen forces that lurked in the shadows. To this day, the Headless Horseman is said to ride through the woods of Sleepy Hollow, a spectral figure searching for his lost head. And those who venture into the village on a dark, moonlit night may hear the distant sound of pounding hooves and the haunting laughter of the Headless Rider, forever bound to his ghostly quest.